This is Matt, and this is a special custom action figure review. If you're new to my channel, this is a channel where we do custom action figure dioramas, customizing action figures, and action figure displays. And so I create how-to videos and show you guys how to follow along at home, or hopefully give you guys some ideas on your own. So for this case, this figure was made in 2015. I have no footage, so I thought it'd be fun if we kind of reviewed some of my figures periodically here, the custom action figures that is, and kind of just discuss what went into it, how I achieved it. You guys can pick and choose what you like out of these figures, and you can then proceed to create your own, and hopefully this inspires you to do so. So the first character that I created back in 2015 was Cable. Taking a closer look, you guys can see he is stacked. This is definitely a LIEFELD type Cable. This is something that I've wanted for a long time, and up into 2015 I think we only had two or three Cables, but no real attempts at the LIEFELD-esque type Cable. The closest we got is an action figure we're going to discuss here in a second. The best way to review this, I thought, would be to start from the head and work our way down. So I'm just going to pop this guy off. You will need two action figures to achieve a similar looking figure to mine, and the first one is the Marvel Select Cable figure offered by Diamond Select. I don't remember what year this figure came out, but that is where we got the head from. So for this earpiece, this is just epoxy sculpt, painted silver. I just made a disc. It's connected to the ear back there. I added two buttons. We have this mouthpiece here, like a little radio. I added these black scars. I kept the factory paint, the gray paint on the hair, and then I just added a wash and some dry brushing on white. This extra antenna here is just a piece of wood, but I like the way it looks. I'm going to move this over to the side and put a picture of the original figure right here so you guys can see what you are going to be trying to buy on eBay. I really like that figure. The only problem with it is that it has terrible waist joints. It has those DC figure butterfly joints that I really hate. But the head sculpt is fantastic, so that's why we went ahead with that. Taking a look at the shoulder pads, that is connected to the backpack. This is one piece. We do have straps here, and this is a sculpted pouch that I have. Here's a piece of metal that I sculpted right here. It's not real metal, it just looks like that. But these are rubber bands. These straps are rubber bands. I just painted them. Take a look at the back. The knife is covering up this one, and we have a pouch on this one. And so underneath those are magnets, so we can just pull that right off. These shoulder pads do come with the Marvel Select Cable. Didn't really do much up here on the top. This gun also comes with him, as well as the holster. I believe it's on his lower back. I just ripped it off, glued it to the front here. There was something over the mouthpiece here. I cut it out and added this ball just to make it look more comic book accurate. These are also on the figure, cut out, added them right here, glued it on top of the rubber band. Sculpted these pouches, added a nice copper to it. Really digging that. The knife also came with cable from Diamond Select. Not bad. Just gave it a new paint job. Very cool. You can see the magnets always want to stick to each other here. Okay, so now we're talking about the backpack. So with this backpack, this is cardboard. I just took cardboard, cut it up, and basically super glued it to make it into a square. And then to round off the edges, I used epoxy sculpt. I also did that with buttons here. I ended up just taking a rubber band and gluing it down to one end, twisting it, and then gluing it up here. Just looks kind of cool. It's not perfect, you guys can see here, but that's okay. I feel like it adds to the battle damage. It looks like it's been worn and worn out a lot. I put a little screen here. This is just epoxy sculpt. I laid it down. I sculpted that using a razor blade. We got some buttons down here. This piece here comes with the other figure you will need, which is the Toy Biz Marvel Legends Bishop. One of the few figures that hold up really, really well. Okay, so here's the light side. So I sculpted this out of cardboard. I just drew it on paper and then cut it out to match this leveling here. This is a piece of plastic that I sanded over, and this is just from a random action figure that I would purchase and I was throwing it out, so I used it here. This does come out, if I can get it out. You guys can see just a light piece of plastic. Where is it? Okay, so you guys have seen me use this in the past. This is an LED. I'll put the link in the description below if you guys are looking to do projects with this thing. I think it cost $12. There's 2 batteries in here. There's the metal. So when you put them together and you screw it down all the way, you get light. And these were, from what I remember, they're available in 4 different colors: orange, white, blue. I think there was a red. So very, very useful. There is no button attachment. I can't get a button. Now I could probably, but just kind of sits in there. And this plastic plugs right in. So we're going to take a look at the weapons here. Here was that knife I spoke about. It's a closer look. Black handle. Really nice. Nice detailing on this. The great thing about this Marvel Select figure is that you get a ton of accessories. Here is the pistol. And that is a really, really nice pistol. I found this on eBay. And I believe it's from McFarlane's Gears of War, if I'm not mistaken. I got like a grab bag of these. 5 for $5 or something like that. And I use a little bit of sticky tack on the handle to help keep it in Cable's hand. Then we have the Marvel Legends Toy Biz Bishop. This is a shotgun, but it's really, really nicely done. One of the best shotguns I think I've seen on an action figure. I just painted it, gave it a nice metallic wash here, brown handle. It's supposed to peg into the figure's hand, but I cut out the peg. So he still holds this one properly, but this one is not really wanting to stay, so I use that sticky tack. I wanted to show this off to you guys. This is a comparison for the body that was used. It's the same body, Toy Biz Marvel Legends Bishop. You can see that case that I cut out and put on his Cable's back, but same figure, especially when you look at that belt area. And this is one of the few Toy Biz figures that really hold up really nicely. So if you can't get a hold of the Marvel Legends Bishop from the Sauron wave, this is a great substitute. You guys can see, same arm. I just sanded this down. I cut off the sleeve, sanded that down. That's all that happened there. The toughest piece was these straps here, that X, all had to be sanded down, so it took me a long time. So as you can see, this got sanded down as much as possible, and then I just kind of put epoxy sculpt on top of it. Before it dried, that's when I went back in with a razor blade and I just added those cuts inside to make it look more like the metal from the comic book. Same thing happened on the arm. I sanded down as much as I possibly could, and then I drew with pencil the lines where I wanted the lines, so I got to really kind of see and draw this first. After I did that, then I went in with a very hot razor blade and I actually cut into the plastic. So these cuts are inside the plastic, but it created a really nice effect. Not so much in the back. This was very difficult for me to do, especially for the first time customizing since the mid-90s. I'd stopped collecting action figures in the late 90s, and when I got back into it, I want to say 2010, 2011, it was only vintage G.I. Joe. So I only had vintage G.I. Joe on the shelf. So when 2015 rolled around, I think I had one Marvel Legend in my collection, and I decided to customize this guy because they never made one, and it was very ambitious. So this thing took a long time for me to make. These kind of pill sections here are on the Marvel Select figure. I just cut it out and plugged it right in. So that was nice. Here you can see the magnet. Some other silver portions. So this here is a belt that I made out of a rubber band. There's two separate rubber bands here. This one holds the pistol. You guys can see. There you go. So that's cool. I dig that. You guys can see I sculpted a pouch here. This grenade I also sculpted. That's just a ball of epoxy sculpt. I took a rubber band and put it around it, super glued it, painted it, and then the clip on top, the little black clip you guys can see there, that is a toothpick. More grenades. I added this little pillbox thing. I never know what these are. LIEFELD doesn't know what they are either. He just always drew it, so I added it because I love the way it looks. I added some rubber band straps here and here. Belt buckles. These guns here come from the Marvel Select cable also. I just cut them out and ripped them off and glued them to my figure. And they house these two guns. Both guns are exactly the same. Really nice. The only thing is they're pretty much for show because this doesn't want to fit the hand. I think you can get two fingers in there. Let me see. If you end up doing that, you should be able to. Yeah, it kind of wants to hold it, but it's really just for show. You also have movable fingers here, which is nice. Articulation in the wrist. This is a nice figure. It's a little dated, but it's still fine. These knee pads are the original. They go to the original figure. These are like pencil case. When we were kids, you guys had things you would bring to school and hold your pencils and pens in them. That's what this is. So there's fabric on the side, or inside I should say, and I guess it's like a pleather. It's made out of a pleather. You can see the stitching here. I forget what I got. It might have been given away to me at TD Bank, but I ended up cutting it out because I wanted these boots to look like leather. So I think I achieved that. So I was really happy with that. We got rubber bands here. And then we have the actual boot. Now this one I glued. It's supposed to have toe articulation. You guys can see that. But it's so annoying. I had to glue it. Like, this one's not, but like, why would you even... I've always hated toe articulation. It's so pointless to me, and it makes the foot longer than it's supposed to be. So I hate that. McFarlane's doing that with the DC stuff, and it's one of the reasons I won't buy the figure. Figures, I should say. Look at that. I just love the way that looks. That looks fantastic. So cool. Really, really happy with the way this guy came out. I don't know why I attempted such a advanced type of custom for my first one coming back. I guess probably because I wanted to learn as much information as I possibly could as fast as I could. Should I be using rubber bands? Should I be using the epoxy sculpt? Am I using it properly? How does it feel? You really need to do something before you start getting a feel. You can see the pouches came out really nice for the first time I'm sculpting in my life was when I'm doing this. So same thing here. These balls, perfect. Doing the backpack, for you guys who are more advanced, that's probably not that impressive, but for somebody who is doing this for the first time ever, I think that looks really, really good, honestly. But you guys let me know. Let me know in the comments. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being silly. You can see next to the original figure. Oh, I still really like this guy. I think he's great. That's why I kept him. He's not on display on the shelf, but he looks really, really nice. I'm happy I have this guy. So, final thoughts. This figure is always going to hold a special place in my heart. It was the first one I did coming back. I learned so much by doing this figure in terms of gluing pieces together, cutting them off from a different figure, mixing and matching parts, kit bashing. This is me learning how to work with LEDs and slot them. I'm learning how to sculpt cardboard here. I'm learning how to use leather type material here. I'm learning what I don't want in feet. I learned about rubber band. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on here beyond what you guys see. There's actual experience being gained in between all of these pieces. So this figure is always going to carry a special place in my heart. My brother Mark loves this figure. He's like obsessed with it. He definitely wants it in his collection. I was always going to put it on eBay, but you know, just to kind of gauge and see what the market was willing to say about my talent. Not that a dollar amount is always reflective of that, but still, like, it was just me trying to see how I was advancing. However, I've changed my mind. I don't want to sell this figure. Mark, this figure is going to go to you. I'm going to get this out to you. You live in a different state than I do, so either we'll make plans to meet up over the weekend or something. But either way, this guy is going to go on your shelf, and I don't even think you own a cable figure yet, so this might be your first cable figure. I don't know. When you see this video, comment in the below and let us know if this will be your first cable. Okay, guys, I hope you guys really enjoyed that. We have another video coming next week. Custom action figure review. I hope you're learning something from these videos. If you get a second, click the button over here, do the YouTube thing. Make sure you stay creative and make sure you check out the custom playlist at the end of the video if you're interested in seeing more of my custom work. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great night.